What's going on, people? So, before we go getting all into this, let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, I did get this shirt from Sneaker Heartz. Yes, they are still doing amazing things. And yes, you too can be a part of that by clicking the links in the description below. So go ahead and do that because if you don't, the terrorists win, and we can't have that. Now, here we are. We got a box of shoes in. It's been a good while since I sat down here and did a actual shoe review and unboxing, all that good stuff. It seems like I won't need these scissors though, because this box seems to be mostly just kind of caved in on the side for whatever reason. Not sure what's up with that, but it's fine. It just makes it a little bit easier to get into. See how simple that was? So now we can go ahead and set this on the side, and we'll take this up with Nike later. And by saying that, I really mean that I won't, because I know me, it doesn't matter. But I am curious. One thing that is cool about this though is for whatever reason, I didn't pay for it, but they sent this by like the 2-day shipping. Because I saw it on my little email earlier. It's like 2-day shipping upgrade. I'm like, the price was still the same, still $83. I think that's what I paid for these. But that was a nice little bonus. So I'll forgive this broken down box. But before we go getting into it, give you guys a quick view of the top. There's that, so you kind of have an idea of what we're talking about. And if you want a better idea of what we're talking about, go ahead and look at the side of this box right there, and that'll explain that all to you. Now, this particular pair of shoes, when was it? It was somewhere between now and when I got the last color. Somebody commented and they're like, oh, hey, like, have you seen the blue pair? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And I feel like that might have been as far as the conversation went. So not a lot of story to give you guys. But I did see them later. And I was like, well, if these ever dip down into the right price area, I'm going to jump on them. And here we are. Like I said, $83 later, we are in the right price area. Oh, but to read this off, photo blue, black, midnight navy, right? So basically just know that it's blue. And there we go. These things are definitely looking pretty all right in my opinion. How you feel about them? Feel free to comment that down below. Don't be afraid to leave comments, people. Somebody messaged me, not messaged me, like they commented on a picture from, because when I'm on Instagram, I post pictures of like the thumbnails so people know that I have new videos out. And somebody recently, like 2 weeks ago, commented on my Presto collection video and like, hey man, I just saw this video, that was pretty good, or whatever they said. I'm thinking like, you could have just said this in the comments section instead of digging through months of bad photos on this here little Instagram thing. But people do what they do and I don't mind. Do you, people. Live your life how you want to live your life. Unless it's illegal, then you might want to make some changes. Anyways, so let's go ahead, give these a good look over. Things are looking pretty all right, so that's cool. It also means that it is now review time on this right here, ladies and gentlemen, the Nike React Vision in Photo Blue. Now these things are pretty all right, and I don't have to go digging out a bunch of details and stuff and checking them out as far as how they fit and everything, because this is not my first time, as I mentioned before. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this and make a seamless transition eventually into the whole on foot stuff. But here we go, starting with the bottom. So across here you've got what is kind of like your typical outsole design on a pair of shoes like this. And by a pair of shoes like this, I mean the React, in that you've got some designing going on, and then you've got a little bit of color fluctuation here and there between the heel area and the front of the shoe. So that's pretty all right. Moving on to the midsole here, from the side you see that it's got that typical super chunky style that you've come to expect on most React shoes. Some of them kind of downplay it a little bit, but a lot of them just let it go wild, which is kind of good because it gives you that good feeling that we'll talk about later. And then picking up around the sides, you do have the blue from the bottom. That's more like it's that navy that they were talking about. Not a bad choice as far as colors go, but that's just my thoughts. Now, moving on to the rest of the upper here. So when you get to the actual upper of this shoe, right, it's nothing crazy, nothing groundbreaking, but it feels pretty nice to the touch, right? So we've got around the top there, we've got this one layer where it's kind of sort of an overlay of sorts over some kind of meshy feeling thing. I'm not quite sure exactly how to explain that. But if you're looking at the pictures, you probably have an idea of what I'm trying to say and just failing miserably to do so. But anyways, trust me, it feels pretty good to the touch, and we'll talk about how it feels when you wear it in a minute. Then on the sides, you also have the outlined Nike swooshes, one on the inside, of course, and like I said, one on the outside. Moving further to the back, you've got where the heel cup area is. You've got the big plastic block that I'm still not a huge fan of, and somewhat of a milky kind of almost opaque white color going on. And then you've got this sort of overlaid plasticky feel in that more navy blue, and peeking out just above that on both sides, there's the inside for you, is the very vibrant reddish orange color. So there's that for it to give you a nice little pop. And then also, since we're on the back side here, you do have this little tab, this little heel tab thing going on with a nice piece of cushiony fabric on the back that does absolutely nothing for you because it's on the back. Why is it there? I don't know. I honestly don't get that. But it's fine in my opinion. Now, moving back to the front of the shoe, right? So of course here you're gonna have some laces because that's an important thing to have, at least on most shoes. Real quick, one thing I never noticed before, on the very bottom here, it says DIMSIX, DIMSIX. So you can kind of see that down in there, just a minor detail. But anyways, so moving back around, you've got the laces that you have on these shoes, generally nothing too fancy, small ropey style laces, right? And then holding those down, you've got these layers of different fabrics, which I may have said in the past videos is kind of similar to what you find on an Air Max 270 React, right? So if you happen to have any of those, you know what I'm talking about. I believe it's also on the Element 87s as well. It's kind of a React staple in this sense. But anyways, on there, it just kind of feels like felt, except for the lower region. So the white and the black at the top feels kind of like a cheap leather. But the rest of it, like I said, feels like just a typical felt type of fabric that you might use on, I don't know, like children's crafts, I guess. But anyways, simple stuff there, nothing too crazy. And then behind that, you've got the tongue with the same sort of pull tab as is on the back. And this one has the DIMSIX logo across the front there as well. Now, one of the things about this tongue, and I'll have to slip some pictures in there, but on the inside, you can kind of see that the tongue is tied down to the bottom of the shoe with these little elastic straps, which is a very nice touch, in my opinion. Your experience with that may vary depending on, I don't know, how wide your foot could be. But anyways, moving on to the inside, you've got the typical insole there, just kind of a, is that aqua, I guess? Teal, maybe? Whatever that color is, it's that color. And then it has the DIMSIX thing in there with that same reddish orange that you saw on the outside right about there. So past that, I think we've covered mostly everything, but I will add in one little detail that people sometimes ask about. You'll notice that this here sock liner, right? It doesn't look like it's going to be anything great as far as comfort goes, and looks like if anything it might bother some people. And on the back, that used to be an issue. On these I haven't noticed it so much, right? Because you look back there and you see you see that there is a little bit of padding. It's not so much just like that raw fabric that digs into people's heels. So that's a nice touch right there. If you're wondering about how these feel, if you're going to be a savage and wear no socks, you should be fine, minus the fact that you're a savage. Anyways, moving on. Now that we've covered all that stuff, we can go ahead and hit this whole sizing thing, right? So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? So as I'm wearing these, right, one of the things I gotta say is right off the top, they are super freaking comfortable, right? I've said it before, I'll say it again right now because you're watching this video. The React midsole is one of the best things Nike has done lately when it comes to comfort, and these are no different than what you might expect if you have other shoes similar. Now, I will say that the fit of these is also very much a true to size fit as well, so that's probably another thing that you're expecting and you won't be let down. That's of course just my opinion based on the way my foot is built and the way I like my shoes to fit, all that stuff. I would say go true to size. So these are 9.5, same size I buy in Air Maxes, same size I buy in Ultra Boost, same size I buy in Yeezys. All of those things to me are a true to fit fit. True to size fit? Whatever, you know what I'm saying. But anyways, do that, right? It's just the best way to go in my personal opinion. Now, otherwise, as far as wearing these and where the overall comfort feels, I did a comparison review on these and a couple other Reacts, so I'm just going to sum this up to say that this might just be number one. Though I will have to do a little test with the the Flyknit Prestos, because those are feeling pretty good and they put the Prestos back in the game as far as I'm concerned. But otherwise, there's not too much else to say about this particular shoe. So I'm going to go ahead and get this little review wrapped up so I can do some editing and whatnot. Also, I have one quick one quick video to shoot after this. But yeah, these are going to be pretty alright. I'm looking forward to wearing them eventually. Whenever that happens is whenever that happens. But I do, if given the chance, like to wear things soon after I get them. That's just how I like to do things. It just doesn't always work. But whatever, I'll deal with that later. So for now, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Again, hit those links in the description unless you're a fan of the terrorists, which you're hopefully not. So do that for all of us. All right, later people.